All right, so today I'll be telling you the story of my 10th dead raising. Now, if you listen to a lot of my content over the last 2 years, or at least the last year, you'll hear me referencing dead raising. I had done nine. By those points, the last two were dogs. I've told those stories. And you've heard me say over the past year that I was working towards my 10th. I'm like, I want to get 10 within the year. I want to reach my number 10. The hard thing about dead raising or even practicing dead raising is that someone has to die in order for you to get the opportunity. And the other thing that makes it difficult is that oftentimes when someone dies, emotions get in the way. Families become a bit more rigid. They don't want to hope. They don't want to try. So there have been many situations where a loved one or someone has died near me and I've reached out to go and try and the family's like, no, don't worry about it. The family doesn't want to do it. They'll let them go. There was even a situation from either last year or year before, might have been early 2025, where um, a cousin of a family that I do ministry with had passed away, had got shot in their yard. And I knew them. They reached out to me, and I immediately went. We were going to the morgue, we were going to the police station, and we just could never get a hold of the body. And then by the time they we did have access, the family changed their mind and said, never mind, it's probably not good for her to come back. So let's just say it's been 2 or 3 years of that happening, almost getting the opportunity, almost getting the chance to at least try. Because I've been very transparent. Dead raising is not something I've mastered. Trust me, when I believe I've mastered it, I will go on tour raising the dead. I will be visiting graveyards. I'll be popping up everywhere. I'll be doing School of the Dead Raisers because I think we're all tired of funerals. So trust me, when I know how it works 100%, I'll teach it, I'll share it. I'm not going to keep that secret to myself. Um, so, that being said, after a year of kind of that happening to me, I was just in Houston for Dunamis Day. Dunamis Day was fantastic, a bunch of testimonies from there, people's lives were changed. It was amazing. So, that next weekend, I was invited to speak at another conference called Alignment Capital A, hosted by Daniel Thornis. He's a spiritual son of Ian Clayton and Kirby Delanaral, but he's based in Houston, and he and I have been friends for years. I've helped him a lot. So he invited me to speak at his conference. And since they were so close together, some of the people who came for Dunamis Day ended up also staying until his conference that next weekend. So I ministered 2 of those days. Um, I want to say it was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I ministered on that Saturday and that Sunday, I think it was. Yes. So we are, I finished the first day. I didn't really minister to anyone just because of how the structure was. I taught. Second day comes. We end up doing a little bit of prayer and impartation before I speak, and then we go right back into it. There's even footage from there where you can see that the energy pouring off of me was so much that it started to affect the lights and electricity behind me. One of my students that was there caught that on camera. So I finished that night. I believe that was that Sunday night. I finished speaking at that conference, and it was at night. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock. It was like 8 o'clock that night, and I had my wife drop me off. We don't live in America, so we're borrowing a car. We're renting a car. So that day, I had my wife drop me off. She had other errands and stuff she had to do, and so I'm at the conference the whole day. What I was unaware of, right? So earlier that day, someone had messaged my wife. They reached out to her for prayer because someone that she knew, let's say some family members of hers, had gotten into a car accident. And just because of the timing of it, my wife didn't see it for hours. So she messaged my wife around noon, said, "Hey, My son and his friend's dad got into it was his friend's dad. They said they got into a car accident. They got hit by a drunk driver. The dad's fighting for his life. My wife didn't see that till like 6 p.m. So like 5, 6 hours had gone by. Later on, she messaged when she did tell her that, oh, she's gonna pray for her. She said, well, the dad has passed away already, but keep praying for her son and his friends and stuff since you know just lost their dad. So my wife picks me up around 8. She tells me the story of what happened, and me coming off such of a powerful moment, maybe that's why my mind was in the right space. But when she told me, she was like, hey, such and such just died, this happened, my mind didn't go into condolences. I said, you know what? Let me see if I can do this time. Let me try. And because it's an area I'm not confident in, I'll be honest, I didn't say anything out loud. I just started to engage in my head. And it wasn't necessarily anything verbal, it wasn't sounds, it was just the idea of come back here. Come back to life, you can do this. Keep in mind, the man died around noon. It's after 8 o'clock when I'm getting told about this. So he'd been dead for hours. Maybe about 15 or so minutes later, within 15 minutes later, my wife gets a text from the same lady. It said, hey, she just got a call that the dad was brought back to life. Now, like I said, this isn't something I've mastered, but this is something I'm building momentum in. Simple keys that I've done that I can at least say led to this is the fact that my initial response to death is not to send condolences. It's to try to raise the dead. We miss out on many miracles because we don't even try to do them. I don't go to funerals. My opportunity of dealing with the dead is before they make their way to the funeral. Certain cultures, I stopped believing in death. I stopped preaching death. I stopped making it normal to myself. So, because I always see it as a problem, that means I'm more inclined to try to solve the problem when the problem arises. I don't believe it's ever the will of God or the will of the royal family for people to die. That's more so something that we've gotten used to happening and we allow it to happen just to keep it simple. But yes, this was my 10th dead raising that just happened this past April. So that's pretty much it. As I've said before, if you want to connect with me, my ministry, and all the other stuff that I have going on, you could do so by going to my website, caveofmystery.org. There you can find my books, courses, classes, and everything else, ways to connect. Hopefully, this story inspired you. I'd love to see dead raising become something normal. I even welcome y'all to join me on this journey of mastering it so that we can really see how fragile death really is. So that's it. I love y'all. Until next time. Later.